Hello there, Sitivien. This is the ST237. It's carbon fiber inlays, titanium bolsters, pretty sweet blue pivot collar on both sides there. Also titanium screws, pivot screw body screws, titanium pocket clip, and back spacers. Well, not a fan of lanyards, but if you're gonna do a lanyard, that's the way to do it. Keep it out of the way. Don't ugly it up with a big hole right here for no reason when no one uses the lanyard hole anyways. And this guy has got pretty rose pattern Damascus blade that Sitivien is claiming is VG10 core and 10CR15 MOV. About 3.27 inches and 3.71 ounces. The overall package is relatively small. Pretty looking blade. You can see that as a really muted flipper tab right there. And I guess pros and cons with that, right? Doesn't poke out much in the pocket, but it's also a little bit more difficult to get any type of leverage on, or kind of got to get your fingertip in there to do it right. But it looks nice. Now they give you enough room right here where you can middle finger flick it. You're going to miss every few times, but it's relatively reliable. You got to just get that thumb fat in there, or finger fat I should say. Pretty cool way of doing the opening hole. You can see the pattern. I'm going to do my best to show you. Yeah, the pattern extends into there, or the etch I should say. I really do wish that there was some jimping up top. Focus for me. Yeah, it is sorely lacking some jimping on the top of the blade. But I absolutely love bolster look. I think bolster locks are my favorite, but if it's not going to be a bolster lock, doing it this way where it's got the bolsters and then it's a liner as opposed to a frame lock, that would be my preference. Nice lockup. Now, I'll do my best to show you that they do not give you much of a cutout to get to the liner lock to disengage. So you do kind of got to jam your thumb fat into there. I would much prefer that they would give you a little bit more room to get your finger in there to disengage, because when you are playing with this and you have the sickness like I do and you just want to sit there and flick it for hours on end and annoy your wife and loved ones, your finger, or your thumb I should say, really feels it after a while. It's just really got to dig it in there, and wish they wouldn't do that. Cool looking marble carbon fiber. Pretty good on the transition. You can feel it, but pretty well done. This is a $79 knife on Amazon. And no doubt for the money, it's a great value. But I have certainly had better inlays before, or better transitions. Again, I love that pivot collar. Now this knife has something that I know many are fans of, myself not so much, and that is the shadow boxing. You know, the actual liner right here sticks out more than the scale, and aesthetically that can be a cool thing. I'll do my best to show you here. I think that's probably the best view. And my main gripe with shadow boxing is, at the end of the day, your fingers are now going to touch these two metal liners before anything else. So no matter how comfortable the rest might be, no matter how contoured it is, at the end of the day, it's just resting on these two pieces of metal that aren't contoured and aren't not comfortable. And if you're holding the knife this way and you're grabbing it by the scales, cool. But if you're holding it like most of us do up here, it's just a way of making the knife uncomfortable. I would have much prefer that they continued that bolster in the scale all the way up and made the liners and the scales the same thickness, and that way my finger's sitting on all that width instead of just the two liners right here. Now, I've always felt that way about shadow box knives. I think they look cool and they can look super cool, but it always makes me think, when I hold that in my hand, it's probably not going to be all that comfortable, especially if you hold it for any extended period of time. The edge itself was done really well. Doesn't look it, but I've actually cut a fair amount with this, and I think that is the place where this really helps someone who wants to try out Damascus. I've had Sitivien Damascus blades. I've had some upscale Damascus, a couple from Riot, and they look great, but you never want to cut anything with them. You don't want to mess with the Damascus, or at least I don't. I end up treating them like safe queens. And it's nice to have, whether it's a Sitivien sometimes or a Sitivien, and have some lower end Damascus that still looks great, but you're not afraid to use it. You're not afraid to resharpen it if need be. And God forbid you scratch it and you mess it all up. You're not ruining a huge investment. Like I said, this $79 knife, the blade looks great, but I'm not at all afraid to carry it, use it, cut with it. Pocket clip, pretty good. I'm more of a fan of deep carry clips. I kind of wish it would sit a little bit deeper in the pocket, but nothing to complain about. And I'll give you one last look all the way around. They also have this model where the bolsters are a metallic blue, similar to what's on the pivot collar, maybe a little bit lighter. So there you are, Sitivien ST237. Catch you guys on the next one.